What's up YouTube? Welcome back. Today it is the LAZYDAZE channel and we're back at it again with some more history reactions for you guys today. And today you have got Tubby and you have got Jack, and we're going to be doing the highly requested Napoleonic Wars, and we're going to be doing the first one, Napoleon's first victory, the siege of Toulon. I've probably pronounced
Let's go with that. Go with Toulon.
Yeah. 1793. I'm really looking forward to it. I enjoyed the first series we done on Oversimplified's channel. I am really looking forward to this. It was just such a big series that it just took us a while to get to. We had a few other bits that we were working on and we sort of bulk record, so we just had to sort of work our way through those to get onto this one. But it is highly anticipated for you guys, so we're definitely looking forward to it and just getting a bit more insight, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Seeing sort of some of the more tactical things he might have done and just getting more insight in this series. So if you guys haven't already, please head over to Epic History's channel. A link will be in the description down below. He's got amazing content. If you're liking our content, then please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. But we're just going to jump straight into this one.
Let's do it.
In the summer of 1793, the French Revolution was entering its fourth year, and France was on the verge of anarchy. In Paris, political extremists had seized control of the revolution.
My guy's got a massive forehead.
They guillotined the king and imposed a reign of terror.
Public executions, right? Would you have gone to see them?
Well, yeah.
I mean,
back in those times, it would just be.
It was entertainment.
Acceptable. Yeah,
that was entertainment back in the day, right? All of those people there around that.
No, these are military.
Oh yeah, these are all soldiers.
Yeah, because this is the king they just beheaded.
Yeah.
Right.
Imagine that. You're the king, and that's your.
Yeah, you just got beheaded.
Oh dear.
Oh, that is.
Even that guy, no, he's just like, yeah, no, I don't want to look at this.
Yeah, that's crazy,
That
man.
is.
Had seized control of the revolution.
So who have we got here?
They guillotined the king and imposed a reign of terror that dealt summary justice to all suspected enemies of the revolution.
Yeah, crazy.
Hoping to unify the new republic, France's leaders had declared war on the Habsburg Empire. But the conflict quickly widened, and soon France was facing the combined might of Europe's leading powers, determined to stamp out a dangerous political experiment.
That is a lot of enemies.
Meanwhile, whole regions of France had come out in open revolt, horrified by the new extremism of the revolution.
Yeah,
In August, the Republic suffered a further, potentially fatal blow, when the city of Toulon joined the revolt. Toulon was France's largest and most important naval base in the south, home to a third of the entire French Navy. But now, rebels welcomed their old enemy, the British Royal Navy, into the port, led by Admiral Lord Hood, aboard HMS Victory. It was an extraordinary coup. Without a shot being fired, the Allies had crippled French naval power in the Mediterranean and gained a vital toehold on the French coast.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, that's a big victory.
All French forces in the area were immediately diverted to face this new threat and lay siege to the rebel port. 19,000 troops in all. But since most French officers had been aristocrats who were now fleeing the revolution in large numbers, they were seriously short of professional leadership. Their commander, General Jean-François Carteau, was a loyal Republican, but a court painter by trade, with no military training.
Really?
To make matters worse, one of his few professional officers, his artillery commander, Colonel Dommartin, had been badly wounded on the approach to Toulon. Antoine Salicetti, a Corsican deputy of the National Convention in Paris, recommended as his replacement a fellow countryman, a 24-year-old artillery officer who was passing Toulon en route to the front, named Napoleone Buonaparte. or Bonaparte? Bonaparte was a professional
Into the man,
soldier,
myth, the
but he'd
legend.
seen almost no active service. Nevertheless, Salicetti was impressed by his manner, and most of all, his politics. Bonaparte had just written a political pamphlet, a short story about a young artillery officer who berates his fellow diners for their disloyalty to the Republic. General Carteau thought it wise to accept Deputy Salicetti's recommendation.
One can remain 24 or, if necessary, 36 hours without eating, but one cannot remain 3 minutes without gunpowder.
The great port of Toulon was well defended by city walls, and a dozen outlying forts and redoubts. They were held by 2,000 British soldiers and sailors, 6,000 Spanish troops, 6,000 Neapolitans, and 800 Sardinians. Artillery would be the key to overcoming these formidable defences. But when Bonaparte was put in command of the artillery on the 16th of September, he found himself with few cannon, not enough trained gun crews, and a shortage of gunpowder and shot. With relentless energy and determination, Bonaparte transformed the situation, requisitioning unused guns, training infantrymen to work them, setting up a new forge and workshop, and arranging transport from Marseille of 100,000 sandbags for constructing new batteries.
Well done indeed.
Through hard work, he was ultimately able to build his force up to 64 officers and 1,500 men, manning 100 cannon, howitzers, and mortars.
Well done. And at 24.
Within days, Bonaparte had established 2 new forward batteries with good revolutionary names, La Montagne and Sans Culottes, which brought Toulon's inner harbour within range and forced Admiral Hood to move all his ships closer to the port. Bonaparte also came up with a plan, one that would allow the French to bypass most of Toulon's defences and secure the rapid victory the Republic so desperately needed.
It's ingenious so far.
Bonaparte argued that if Fort L'Aiguillette could be captured, which looked out across the harbour, he could fill it with heavy guns and shell the British and Spanish fleet at anchor. Admiral Hood would be forced to abandon the port and take with him the Allied soldiers that Toulon relied on for its defence. General Carteau saw the merits of Bonaparte's plan, and on the 22nd of September, French forces attacked Montcaire. But to Bonaparte's exasperation, while he'd argued for an attack by 3,000 men, the indecisive Carteau committed only 400.
What?
Not only was the attack easily repulsed, but it alerted the Allies to the danger. Within 48 hours, they'd reinforced Montcaire with thousands more troops and built a new fort named Fort Mulgrave, bristling with 20 cannon. The position was now so strong, the French nicknamed it Little Gibraltar.
It was one impossible plan.
Finally, in mid-November, an experienced professional soldier arrived to take command of French forces, General Dugommier. He saw at once that Bonaparte's plan was the only way to take Toulon, and gave it his full backing.
Hey, nice.
Bonaparte, promoted to major, got to work, overseeing construction of several more batteries in preparation for the decisive assault. One forward battery was so exposed to enemy fire that men refused to be sent there. So Bonaparte renamed it La Batterie des Hommes Sans Peur, the battery of men without fear. And suddenly,
You genius.
Yeah.
It was an early display of Napoleon's genius for inspiring his soldiers. One that would serve him well in the years ahead. On the 30th of November, the Allied Land Forces commander, British General Charles O'Hara, tried to seize back the initiative, leading an assault on the new French batteries facing Fort Malbousquet.
Right. Yeah, it's just going wrong down
At first, the attack was successful.
Yeah, I understand that.
The batteries were overrun, the French guns spiked. But a counterattack with much greater numbers, and led in person by General Dugommier and Major Bonaparte, drove back the Allies. General O'Hara himself was shot through the hand and captured.
Okay.
12 years before, he'd surrendered to George Washington at Yorktown during the American War of Independence. Now he got to surrender to Napoleon Bonaparte.
Imagine being able to surrender to the greatest name in history, George Washington.
I didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, I know, but like that is something to.
Like you've gone into 2 battles.
Yeah.
Fair play, you've lost, but you've gone into 2 battles and you've somehow still survived it.
Yeah, and they're against 2 of the most well-known people in history.
Yeah, but they didn't know that.
They didn't know that. That is the point. Yeah.
To Napoleon Bonaparte.
Among those who most distinguished themselves and who gave me the most help in rallying the men and leading them forward were Citizen
Bonaparte,
there you go,
Commandant of the Artillery.
there you go.
In the early hours of the 18th of December, in howling
Better you than me.
wind and driving rain, the French launched a major assault on Fort Mulgrave. The wet conditions made muskets useless except as clubs or with bayonets. Bonaparte led the second wave in person. Amid fierce hand-to-hand fighting, his horse was killed under him, and he was bayoneted in the thigh by a British sergeant, a wound that came within inches of ending his life and radically changing the course of history. Finally, the Allied garrison was overwhelmed, and Mulgrave fell to the French. Fort L'Aiguillette and Tour de la Balaquière were soon also in French hands.
So strong.
By the following afternoon, the French had 10 heavy guns in L'Aiguillette, placing the Allied ships within range. Admiral Hood could not expose his valuable ships of the line to such a threat. He had no option but to order an immediate evacuation of the fleet and garrison from Toulon. Small Spanish and British teams raced to destroy all the French ships and naval stores that they couldn't take with them. But amid the chaos of their departure, 18 ships of the line were allowed to fall back into French hands. A badly missed opportunity. Many French citizens of Toulon were desperate to escape aboard the Allied ships, knowing that the Republicans would inflict terrible reprisals on the city. British and Spanish ships took as many as they could, about 14,000 in all, but scores were drowned amid chaotic and desperate scenes.
Shit.
Others were left to face the wrath of the revolution. Republican troops entered the city the next morning, and executions and firing squads began almost immediately. For the next 2 weeks, about 200 were executed every day. Allied propaganda later blamed Bonaparte for the atrocities, but there's no evidence he was directly involved.
Okay.
Indeed.
My predictions were exactly fulfilled, such in the history of this event, which has so greatly astonished Europe.
and has never been well understood. Napoleon Bonaparte.
France's young republic was now fighting back on all fronts. And with the fall of Toulon, the Allies had lost a golden opportunity, a chance to stir up further revolt, deal a lasting blow to French naval power, perhaps even overturn the revolution. But instead, the French Republic had weathered one of its greatest storms, in no small part thanks to the remarkable judgment, energy and courage of one 24-year-old artillery officer,
24 years
now
old.
promoted Brigadier General in recognition of his extraordinary service at Toulon. Napoleon Bonaparte
insane.
had taken his first step on the path to greatness. And for Europe, 21 years of almost constant war awaited. Our sponsor...
That's crazy.
Mate,
That's so
24
impressive.
years old, what he was able to do with the skill and the knowledge of him.
That was only episode 1, Jack, and this is a long series. This is a long series. That was ingenious.
Oh, mate, that man is...
Mate.
he was so smart, and he was,
And
he was a young
the
lad.
inspirational speech to keep the boys...
Yeah, changing
like,
the
at
name
post.
to, the barracks of men with no fear.
Yeah.
Genius. Absolute
Yeah.
genius.
And like, just the fact he was like, look, we need to take this place and then like we can fire at the ships and then they're just gonna have to leave. And that's what happened. Like the moment they took that, they didn't have to like actually siege, like they didn't actually have to go into the city and lose like thousands and thousands of men. He was just like, nah, we'll just go over here, we'll shoot the ships and then they have to leave. And then we just take it over, and that's exactly what happened. That's crazy. It just shows you that like not all battles are won by just doing a mass offensive.
Yeah.
Like
You've got to have the knowledge, and the knowledge that he had,
yeah, it's impressive. It is
that
impressive.
really is.
Really impressive. Apparently, you guys say he gets lots of good generals later on as well. So I'm really interested to sort of see some of the future battles. Like I said, that's the first one, and like it wasn't the most important victory. It was an important victory for that time, but like later on,
it was the one that started his entire career.
I understand that, but later on there's going to be bigger, more complex
Yeah.
battles.
Oh, yeah,
which
no,
is
of
what I
course,
mean.
yeah.
But, so it's nice to see his sort of entry point. Really interesting. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was good.
If you guys are liking our content, then please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. A link in the description box down below will be there for Epic History TV's channel. Other than that, guys, we're looking forward to catching you in the next one.
In a bit.